My dear viewers, hello and welcome to a new episode of Youth. This is a special edition covering the Egyptian-Eritrean relations. President Abdel al-Sisi have arrived in Eritrean Asmara on Thursday under of the Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki, who received him upon his arrival. The visit will discuss to enhance bilateral relations in various fields, in addition to the regional conditions and also the efforts to consolidate stability and security in the Horn of Africa. And this is in a manner that supports the development process and achieves interests of peoples of the region. Welcome back. To shed more light on the Egyptian-Eritrean ties and also the visit by President Abdel al-Sisi, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Mr. Rahman, journalist and political analyst. Good afternoon, sir.
Well, good afternoon to you. Hello to you and the dear viewers.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rahman, now President Abdel al-Sisi have arrived today to the Eritrean capital under the invitation of Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki. The importance of this?
I believe that the Egyptian presence in the African Horn is getting stronger and stronger in the past 2 months. First, there was an important visit paid by the Somalian president to Cairo, when he met Mr. President Abdel al-Sisi, and they have signed an agreement, a military agreement for joint military cooperation, which means we are strengthening, we took a step towards strengthening the presence in the African Horn to protect our own best interests as Egyptians and our in the same territory. Today, another step is taken, strengthening the same situation with more Egyptian presence into an area where Mr. President Abdel al-Sisi is given a very important and a historical visit to Eritrea, and received by the Eritrean President, Mr. Isaias Afwerki, which means that another agreement, military agreement for joint cooperation, militarily, politically, diplomatically, and of course economically, is in the horizon. I expect that step gives a clear message to the neighbors and those who are against the best interest of us and our neighbors. We're not alone around the Nile Basin. The Nile Basin. We have neighbors, we have friends, and we have strong relations with even the Ethiopian nation, the Ethiopian and Sudanian and Uganda and Kenya and all of the Nile Basin countries. So we are there to protect all of our own best interests as associates at the same Nile, at the same water source, our source of life, our own lives as nations. So we should work together, and I believe that message, that Egyptian message, is directed to those who are behind the greed in the Nile Basin, those who are supporting the aggression against our water national security, which means to us a matter of life or death.
Yes, Mr. Abdurrahman, there is historical relations between Egypt and Eritrea, and deep-rooted relations through the history. And if we go back to the 90s, Egypt have supported Eritrea in gaining its independence in the year 1993. What's your comment on this?
Well, of course, that's a very important and tactical and strategic question. Why? Because Egypt in the 60s, in the 50s, and in the 60s, led by the leader, the great Egyptian Arabic African leader, Gamal Abdel Nasser, has led the independence movements all over to South Africa. Can you believe this? Can the world believe this? Well, this is the truth. This is the fact. We have helped Somalia to gain its own independence. We have helped Eritrea to gain its own independence, as we have helped Algeria and Congo. We all remember the great martyr people who have died in his struggle towards independence from the Western colonization, and his wife was received here as an Egyptian citizen to live here in total protection. We have helped all of the African nations to gain its own independence, and the African nations remember that to us, and they carry that historical effort in their hearts and their minds. And of course, we are today with a welcoming hands in Eritrea and other countries in Africa, according to that glorious history made in the 60s.
So, Mr. Abdurrahman, also President Abdel is scheduled to discuss with the Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki the security in the whole of the Red Sea. If you would like to shed more light on this, please.
Okay, the Red Sea file, the African Horn file, are connected to each other. Those files are truly connected. Today we are fighting as nations against the greed of new colonizers and their associates in the region. Today, Sudan is fighting against foreign hands that are trying to divide the country again, after it was divided already 10 years ago in the Arabic autumn. I would call it the Arabic autumn, not the Arabic spring. Today, Sudan is being divided again. The assaults and the supporting of the terroristic militia, what they call it, the Dam al-Sharia, terroristic militia.
The Rapids, yes.
And with other associates are supporting that militia and other militias. Also,
the Rapid Support Forces, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course, some vicious hands are supporting the Ethiopian military against our own national security. And they are cultivating hostilities between the nations of one continent. We should be friends. We should be neighbors. We should be contributing and taking part each and with an equal shares in the Nile Basin. But some vicious hands are running that scheme to divide again the countries in Africa. The same version, or I would call it the third version of Sykes-Picot. The first one was at the 1916. One was at the year 2010 and 2011, and today another scheme, another version of Sykes-Picot conspiracy against the countries in Africa, and only Egypt, with all its powers. I'm talking not only militarily. I'm talking all of the powers, the strong powers and the harsh powers and the soft powers we can use, as well as we were created as leaders of this country, this continent, and we should protect not only the Egyptian best interest in Africa, but also we should protect Somalia. We should protect Eritrea. We should protect Sudan. This is our history. This is what they call it, geopolitical Egyptian role that can never be divided or taken out of us. This is Egypt. We are different than any other country in the region.
Yes, also concerning the regional conditions and the situation in the Middle East, in Gaza Strip and Lebanon, also the two leaders are scheduled to discuss also this and security.
I believe the Eritrean president is taking the same stance that Egypt and the balanced powers in the region towards or against the Zionist aggression against the Arabic occupied lands and those who are raised as martyrs in Gaza Strip and in Rafah al-Gharbiyya and Bank and in south of Lebanon. How many time, for how long will that aggression go on? The Arabs should unite after the leadership of Egypt. This is the only way. Not the American, not the Israeli, not any behind any power. Only Egypt. Only Egypt is created for that role, and for the Arabs to realize this is the only way to protect our own national security. The same way as Africans, we in Egypt, we gather between the Arabic roots and the African roots side by side. And that's why you are meant to help and to lead protecting the national security of the whole region, whether in Africa or the Arabic East.
Yes, so Mr. Abdurrahman, also the talks is going to discuss ways of enhancing bilateral relations in various fields and cooperation in the field of investment, of education fields. What do we expect concerning the signing of agreements and memorandum of understandings?
That get on with the same role that we have started in the 60s. Our soft powers depend on economical pillars, agricultural projects, industrial projects, economical projects, and of course cultural cooperation. We have, as I said, we have the same roots, almost the same cultures, also almost the same traditions and customs. Together we understand each other as Africans more than any other country from abroad of the continent. So we can use those powers to achieve more, strengthen for our own bilateral relations with Eritrea and other countries in the same continent. We have witnessed that how successful the great project that we have achieved, the Julius Nyerere Dam that we have established in Tanzania. We have that feeling that Egypt is there. We can lead with our own rights, with our own mutual understanding, mutual interests, not as colonizers like the others, whether colonizers, supporters from the region all around us, or supporters from the west, from the east.
Yes, yes. We're running out of time, but quick, my last question is concerning the boosting of relations between Egypt and other African countries since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came to office, because the relations between Egypt and Africa was neglected before the president came to office. Give us a quick idea about this, please.
I believe that Egypt, both Egypt and the African nations, have paid a lot of price, and a high price that we should never have paid as a result of cutting our relations in the past era with our own neighbors in Africa. According to an accident that happened, we should never cut our own roots. We should never live without our neighbors in Africa. We are the bigger brother to this continent, and this is a responsibility that you can never neglect.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Mr. Amr Abdurrahman, journalist, writer, and the political analyst. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. I really had the this phone with you. With this, we come to the special edition. Until now, please wait for more updates on Nile TV International. My name is Aman Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.